China is one of the world's largest economies and a major player in international trade, investment, and global supply chains. As a global manufacturing powerhouse and a key trading partner to many nations, China's influence extends across industry and market worldwide. Beyond its economic strength, China is shaped by a rich cultural history and deeply rooted traditions that continue to influence modern business practices. Unique business ethics, relationship-based communications, and respect for hierarchy play an important role in how negotiations are conducted. China, home to over 1.4 billion people, making it the most populous nation on earth, a country where ancient tradition blends seamlessly with modern innovations. From the elegant stroke of Chinese calligraphy to the deep philosophical influence of Confucianism, China's cultural heritage continues to shape its business value and social behaviors today. China's transformations can be seen everywhere, from traditional wooden temples and ancient courtyards to futuristic megacities. Across the country, these traditional and historical buildings stand alongside modern infrastructure and rapid urban developments. These historic spaces reflect centuries of cultural heritage, values, and social traditions that continue to shape Chinese society today. Evolving with the times, now China is home to futuristic megacities filled with high-speed railways, smart factories, and towering LED-lit skyscrapers. Innovation and technology drive productivity, efficiency, and global competitiveness. This unique balance between heritage and technological advancements make China an essential country for understanding, cross-cultural communication, and negotiation in international business where traditions, cultures, and modernity often coexist. From the Great Wall, a symbol of ancient strength, to China's global role as one of the world's largest exporters, supplying everything from electronics to machinery to market worldwide. China is a suitable country for studying cross-cultural communications due to its strong global presence and rich cultural diversity. As one of the world's largest economies and a leading manufacturing and export hub, China interacts extensively with businesses from different cultural backgrounds. Its role as a crucial trading partner for many countries, including those in Southeast Asia and beyond, requires constant communications and negotiation across cultures. Multinational enterprises regularly engage with Chinese firms where differences in communication styles, business ethics, and cultural value must be carefully managed. As a result, understanding cross-cultural communications in China is essential for achieving effective collaborations, mutual trust, and successful international business relationships.
Chinese business negotiation is often guided by gradual and friendship-oriented approach, rather than entering directly into price and contractual discussions. Chinese negotiators usually prioritize building a trust and rapport first, a concept widely known as 关系. This is why many negotiations begin with informal interactions like meet greetings, small talks, or even tea sharing. These moments may seem unrelated to business on the surface, but they play a crucial role on setting the emotional tone and a mutual respect for the negotiation ahead. Did you notice? No laptop were opened immediately, no contract were slapped on the table. This is the first distinct phase, establish 关系. In China, negotiation is not a single transition, but as the beginning of a long-term relationship. Establish a comfort and trust at the beginning step can help reduce conflict structure and create a cooperative mindset before discussing any concrete terms.
Generally, the Chinese negotiation process can be divided into 4 key stages. The first stage is preparation. where companies conduct background research on their partners' credibility, capacity, and long-term potential. The second stage is the opening, which focuses on relationship building and setting a positive atmosphere through polite conversation rather than immediate bargaining. The third stage is discussion and consultation, where non-core issues are usually addressed before moving on to the sensitive topics such as price. Finally, the agreement stage emphasizes formality and ritual, reflecting the importance of commitment and mutual respect. A distinctive negotiation skill in Chinese culture is the concept of 面子, or saving face. Even when disagreements arise, Chinese negotiators tend to acknowledge the other part's perspectives first before offering alternative suggestions. Direct confrontation or public rejection is often avoided as it may damage trust.
We hope to further reduce the unit price by 5%, and this is a common bargaining range in our market.
Okay, I understand the request. This is the detailed material of our raw materials and labor cost. And you can see we already include a 10% discount for cooperation.
Okay. So for the tier discount approach makes a lot of sense. We can also go back and also confirm the purchases volume, and this is definitely a direction worth pursuing.
When it comes to bargaining behavior, Chinese companies typically adopt an approach that balances logic and emotion. Rather than applying aggressive price pressure, they often rely on transparent data, such as cost breakdown or past cooperation examples, to justify pricing and build credibility. This approach helps prevent the negotiation from becoming confrontation and reinforces mutual trust. Another key character is the emphasis on long-term win-win. Instead of lowering the union's price directly, Chinese negotiators are more willing to make consensus through purchasing value, contract direction, or future cooperation opportunities. This reflects a collective-oriented mindset, where overall partnership value is prioritized over short-term profit, compared to some Western bargaining styles that focuses on immediate gains. Chinese bargaining behavior tends to look at the sustainability of the relationship. That photograph at the door is not just a souvenir, it's the sign of the new alliance. The send-off is critical ritual to give face to the partner one last time. Cultural values strongly influence bargaining dynamics in China. Concepts such as 关系, 面子, and collective benefits shape not only how offers are made, but also how disagreements are managed. Successful negotiations are often those where both sides feel respect, understood, and valued, not just financially satisfied.
This scene illustrates how decision-making in Chinese business culture is typically collective, hierarchical, and cautious. The Chinese team does not make immediate decisions during the meeting. Instead, they take time to review the documents, discuss internally, and seek alignment among team members, especially senior leaders who hold final authority. This approach reflects respect for hierarchy and also helps to reduce risk while maintaining group harmony. Silence and calm behavior during the discussion indicate careful consideration rather than disagreement. The foreign team waits patiently and avoids pressuring for quick answers, showing cultural awareness and respect for the Chinese decision-making process, which supports long-term relationship building. So after a formal meeting, the foreign company follows up by asking for a final confirmation on the agreement. The Chinese team responds that they need additional time to consult internally and align with the senior executives. So no individual member gives a personal opinion during the meeting, and a few days later, the decision is communicated through the team leader. So this shows that decisions are made carefully with the respect for a hierarchy and only after internal consensus is reached. This scene highlights the high contact communication style commonly used in Chinese business meeting. Communication is polite, indirect, and formal, with an emphasis on harmony and respect. Instead of expressing disagreement directly, messages are delivered subtly to avoid conflict and to protect peace, which refers to personal dignity and social reputation. Tone, body language, and silence play a very important role in conveying meaning. While formal titles and respectful language are used, especially when addressing senior members, the foreign teams listen attentively and adapt their communication style, helping to prevent misunderstanding and strengthen mutual trust. During a discussion, the Chinese team notices a potential issue with the project timeline, but does not state the problem directly. Instead, they mention that the schedule may be challenging and suggest reviewing it again later. Their indirect wording and calm tone help avoid confrontation. The foreign team understands the message and proposes a revised timeline, demonstrating the sensitivity to high context communication and respect for harmony.
So now I will be discussing the cultural values that influence conflict resolution in China and the strategies used to manage conflicts within this cultural context. First, Confucianism. It plays a major role in shaping how conflict is viewed in Chinese society. Confucian values emphasize social harmony, respect, and balance. Because of this, confrontation is generally avoided as conflict is seen as disruptive to relationships and group stability. Open disagreements, especially in public settings, can damage trust and cooperation. For example, employees may avoid arguing openly during meetings to maintain a calm and respectful environment. To manage conflict within this value system, indirect communication and private discussions are commonly used to resolve issues without harming any relationships. Second, collectivism. It strongly influences conflict resolution in China. In a collectivist culture, group interests are prioritized over individual opinions. Decisions are made to preserve unity and cooperation within the group. As a result, employees may accept decisions they personally disagree with if expressing opposition could create tension within the team. Conflict is managed through compromise, where individuals adjust their expectations or viewpoints in order to support group harmony. Third, high power distance is an important cultural factor in Chinese society. Hierarchy and seniority are highly respected, and authority plays a central role in resolving disputes. Leaders are expected to take responsibility for conflict resolution, while employees often avoid confronting peers directly. For example, employees rely on managers to settle disagreements rather than negotiating on their own. Hierarchical decision-making helps maintain order, respect, and stability within an organization. Fourth, the concept of mianzi, or face, as we know, greatly affects how conflict is handled. Preserving dignity, reputation, and social standing is extremely important. Public criticism is avoided because it can cause embarrassment and damage relationships. For instance, managers provide negative feedback privately rather than in front of their colleagues. Private resolution is therefore a key strategy used to manage conflict while protecting everyone's dignity. Fifth, high context communication influences conflict resolution in China. Messages are often conveyed indirectly, and meaning depends on context, tone, and relationship between individuals. Disagreement may be expressed through silence, hesitation, or vague responses instead of direct verbal opposition. Managing conflicts in this context requires careful listening and sensitivity to non-verbal cues in order to prevent misunderstandings. 6. China's long-term orientation also shapes conflict management practices. Relationships in business and professional settings are expected to last over time. Because of this, short-term conflicts are managed carefully to provide or protect future cooperations. Compromise and patience are commonly used instead of immediate confrontation. For example, businesses may make concessions during negotiations to maintain long-term partnerships and mutual trust. In conclusion, cultural values such as Confucianism, collectivism, respect for authorities, mianzi, high context communication, and long-term orientation, all 6 of these influence how conflicts are viewed and resolved in China. The strategies used emphasize harmony, respect, compromise, and relationship preservation rather than direct confrontation, making them essential for effective conflict management in Chinese cultural and professional environments.
To conclude, communication and negotiation play a very important role in international business, especially when dealing with China. China has a unique business culture that strongly value relationship, respect, and trust. Because of this, effective communication is not only about speaking clearly, but also about understanding cultural value and communication style. In Chinese business culture, communication is often indirect. This means business partner may not say no directly, and they prefer polite and respectful conversation. Therefore, international businesses need to pay attention to tone of voice, body language, and contact to avoid misunderstandings. In terms of negotiation, Chinese companies usually focus on long-term cooperation rather than short-term profit. Negotiation is seen as a process that takes time, and building a good relationship is important than winning quickly. By understanding these cultural differences and adapting communication and negotiation strategies, international businesses can build stronger partnerships and achieve mutually beneficial agreements with Chinese partners. From this project, I learned that culture has a strong influence on communication and negotiation in international business. Before this, I thought negotiation was mainly about price and terms. But now, I understand that trust and relationship are equally important, especially in China. I also realized that different countries have different ways of communicating, and what works in Western country may not work in China. This project helped me become more aware of the importance of being patient, respectful, and cultural sensitive when doing business internationally. Overall, this learning experience has improved my understanding of global business communications. In the future, this knowledge will help me communicate more effectively and negotiate more confidently with international partners, especially when dealing with countries that different culture background like China. And that's all from me. Thank you.